This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Or objections. It's way too long.
Could be a long meeting.
As I told Bob, the agenda that I mailed out to you is different than the one in front of you. I added, because we had a meeting with the Mexican, or about the Mexican restaurant loan and the First Lutheran meeting. So new business A and B, I guess are additions than the original one I emailed out.
I move we approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. Meeting minutes from October 16th.
I'll move we approve the minutes.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. Monthly financial report and accounts payable.
I don't believe there's any difference on this than the last couple times we've seen it.
The funds from the car wash, will that show up
That will show up next month
next month? Okay.
because they paid that off. That's correct.
Yeah, they just sold it the other day, so I'm betting he paid it.
November then. Yep.
Motion, we approve the monthly cash sheet.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed. Public hearings? None. Old business, visitor guide?
Yeah, this is just to kind of a highlight, our last meeting, several were in the meeting in the other room for the city council, but we approved $5,000 for 5,000 copies with the stipulation that we get kind of a cost breakdown, which we never did from Mr. Grimsrud. And I put the copy of the email that I got from him here. The paper we're going with will be the paper that is good for the visitor guide. It fits, if you get less quality paper, the visitor guide shows. So we approved it, but yet wanted to know what other costs were. I was not able to get a lot of other costs from Mr. Grimsrud. So what we'll do is we'll go with that cost, and then we'll start working on if we want to change. So what I'd like you guys to do is keep your eyes open for visitor guides if you go somewhere and see if anything catches your eye, if something you think would be great for the Zumbrota Visitor's Guide. It's going to be roughly the same size. It's not going to be like I assume so. It's not going to be like a magazine, but it could be a possibility to change it up. Yeah.
And one thing, I forgot to bring the guide. I went through it, and the UCC church
Oh, yeah.
should be taken out of the church section, and it should be on the map as a historical site.
You still give tours?
We will if somebody calls.
Okay. Okay, will do. And what I'll do is I'll start bringing in you can see the pages that we're responsible for as an EDA. And if you want to make changes to those pages that are listed there, feel free to let me know.
There is no further discussion. We can move on to new business Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, we had a meeting with Brian and Kim and James Hill, our librarian, who's part of our finance committee. And the Mexican restaurant's looking for a loan. They're going to fix their hood in the building so they can't open yet. They have a contractor ready to go in and work on it. I know this because I do building permits as well. He submitted his application with all required forms. I was looking for, $38,000, a loan needed to complete this. If he does not get this loan, will they not complete the work? That I am not sure of. He never said that to me when I asked him, if you don't get the loan, are you not going to do the work? One of the issues that came up when we spoke about this amongst the committee, James brought up the importance of, if this Mexican restaurant makes it or not, that's great, but to have that hood redone so another restaurant could possibly come in at some time if need. So it'd be very important. So what we came up with was terms were $34,200 at 3% for 10 years, of which 10% is forgivable. First payment would be due February 1st, and Kim would put a lien on the building. The repayment agreement is attached. You can see there's copies of them right here if you want to see a copy of it. If approved tonight, it was approved by our finance committee. If approved by the EDA, I'll send him the terms tomorrow in the mail.
And he's aware of the terms?
He will be tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to the EDA first before I let him know the terms.
And 34.2 versus 38?
Well, because 10% would be forgivable.
Oh, I see.
So $3,800 would be forgivable in that situation.
But wouldn't you make the loan for 38 and then just forgive it after the fact, or is the loan 34.2, or the whole loan is 38?
His repayment would be based on 34.2 at 3%.
But the
And
loan
then-
is 38,000.
Yes, the amount of money you will receive is
Yeah.
38,000.
Okay.
Yes.
Has to repay 34.2. Okay, yeah, okay. Now I understand.
Can you give me a brief summary of why we came to this agreement?
First thing that we looked at was already what Kurt had kind of talked about, the fact that apparently that hood is very important to health inspections for that particular site. We all know how many have been in there and not been able to continue in there for some reason, and I believe that hood has something to do with that. So the fact that the building owner is willing to install that hood hopefully will keep either this business or give an opportunity to another business to go in there at some point. So we felt that was a big economic point for it. As far as the dollar amount, we didn't really discuss why 38,000, when that was what he asked for. But I think part of it was the fact that we've not had a lot of money lent out. So, and one of the reasons for that Kim suggested the $3,800 forgivable is because we are getting Star Wash money back. So there's like $4,500, I think that's coming back as part of that. That was forgivable, but because he sold it before the 10 years. So she suggested that maybe we pass that on here too. And we all agreed to that.
Yeah, this would come out of 404. So actually we have, that's in CDs, there's a total of 207,000.
Was there any discussion about allowing alcohol along with your margaritas with your Mexican meals?
We are still under the assumption that Mr. Fahimi, his religion does not want alcohol in the building because of his religion. That has never been, that's still somewhat of a broad assumption, but it's been brought up a number of times as to the reason why.
Any other discussion?
So I might be the dimmest bulb in the room, but I'm not understanding the chart on the second page of this agreement. And I'm confused about the dollar amount on the front side.
This page, Mike.
So this is talking about this document. Is this the,
You don't have one.
This would be
this is the legal document, right? So is the loan for 3,800 on the front or 38,000?
current amount of well, it should be 38,000.
Okay.
And once again, this is not the official
Okay.
document, so corrections will be.
And then on the second page, the chart with the effective date, there are dates. I'm confused why it says February 1, 2025 through January 31 of 2018.
Some date corrections there. It should be
Okay.
26.
I just, again, if this is the document, I just want to make sure it's right. I'll take 38 grand and give you 3,800 back all day long. Let's do that every week.
Do you see that, Kurt? Where's,
I do now.
okay.
In all reality, I had Kim draw this up because so any corrections she's looking for.
I just want to make sure it's right,
Yeah.
that's all.
So we got those.
It looks like on page 2, item 5, it says maturity date shall terminate. Looks like that probably is February of 35.
Oh, that's right.
Is it 35 or 36 after the completed year?
Yeah, it looks like the last payment of $760 would be due in
Year
in
9.
January of 35.
Okay.
So I think February would be the.
See any others? Obviously, the legal description will be added.
Yeah, and the date on the notary on the back page is different too, so just some minor cleanup. And did we say, it says 6 years for the deferred portion forgivable
Where do you see that at?
on page 1, bottom of page 1.
Period of 6,
10, right?
10, okay. Yep,
Be there.
Yep.
okay. This has been great, thank you.
So in order to have more discussion, I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendation of a $38,000 loan to Mr. Fahimi. 34,200 of that to be repaid at 3% interest for 10 years. First payment due February 1. And then $3,800 or 10% of it would be forgivable. All based on 10 years.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Did you get the second? It's awfully quiet. 7B, Christ Lutheran School Building.
Yeah, this is kind of for you as EDA. Brian Grudem and I had a meeting with members of the Lutheran Church who built this school. And they have now the old building behind their church, which used to be the school, and they're trying to figure out what to do with that. And so if you have ideas, please let me know. We gave them the idea of possible daycare for that building. Would be fantastic because it's up. So what we did is they're trying to figure out what to do with the building, how to get it up to code. So we had a feasibility study done, remember, on the UCC church. And so I gave them the idea to write a grant for that to see what they'll have to get done because there is asbestos in that building. And they have met with Ben Olson. I believe he presented to the congregation about what to possibly do with it. They've had ideas of commercial. One of the original things they spoke to me about was putting a coffee shop in there, but they didn't know what it was zoned at the time, and now they do know it's zoned.
What is this?
It's R2, so it's residential. So they're kind of nervous about selling it because they're nervous of who would buy that land right behind the church. They've kind of tapped out their congregation. What I mean is they've built this school, and anybody who's got ability to do something construction-wise has pretty much helped out in that school. And so their congregation's kind of like, oh, what? Oh. So more than likely it'll be put on, I would assume in the near future it'll be put on the market. Their congregation is really how they're kind of moving forward and making money is with daycares. And so I'm hoping that they'll pursue that. But then they'd have to put a lot into that building as well to get that up to date, so it can be used for a daycare. So when I hear something from them, I'll be sure to let you know. But just to let you guys know if there's something that you know that I don't about that area. But it is going to be up on the market, and yeah, hopefully they'll do something.
Is that building totally separated from the church itself? There's no connections with plumbing, heating, or anything?
I believe so. But yeah, that's just kind of a let you know. There's no real action needs to be taken on it, but keep in your thoughts.
But if they pursue a daycare themselves, it won't be on the market?
Correct. Yeah. But like I said, they'd have to get it up, yeah, up to code, which as we know is interesting.
So as a school, it wasn't up to code?
Correct. As you stop being a school, now it's not up to code.
Move on to reports. Do you have questions? No, that's what I'm wondering if we should do that in new business before we move on to reports.
Yeah, well, the report, real quick, update on the KB apartments. I don't have an update on the KB apartments.
Okay.
There's nothing from last time.
I have a question because Brian mentioned to Zeba that the parking issue had been resolved or something had been done. Can we get a report on that? Because I have no idea what that means.
Report on the parking issue?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
That Connie came home from a Zeba meeting and Brian had said that it had been addressed, and I don't know what that means. He never elaborated, so it'd be nice to hear.
Okay. Can you just send you an email? That'd be all right?
That's fine. It just seems like, as an EDA committee, we should be a little bit more involved in the processes of these economic development opportunities, and I don't know why it hasn't been in front of us more often, but it makes me wonder what we're here for sometimes. So I'd appreciate information at least.
Has the purchase agreement been done and signed with the bank?
It's, why don't you go ahead and, we can, yeah, the purchase agreement was for the end of this month. It sounds like it's gonna get extended now until end of December, I think. And then potentially building demolition in January, February, something like that, so. So it's obviously still moving forward, but probably a little delayed from the original
Sure.
timelines, but still, I think spring construction and then it sounds like it takes about, I don't know if it took 2 years to do this one, but that's kind of what they're thinking is because of some of the, I can't remember, something that goes into apartments is like 18 months out when they order it or something. So I don't remember what that was, but so that's what I know about it.
Anything else on the apartments? Turn it over to Rachel.
Hi.
Dr.
sorry.
Freeze, I'm sorry.
Sorry to just pop in. I'm Rachel Freeze. I'm one of the veterinarians at Anderson Veterinary Service. We currently have 7 doctors and anywhere from 7 to 7 to 10 different support staff. So we have been operating for at least the last 30 years out of a rental building on Central Livestock's location right over here on the north side of town. And we've completely outgrown the building. So we are looking at purchasing some land next year, hopefully, within city limits. And just thought I would pop into the meeting because we don't know a whole lot about the loans, grants, different types of things that we can do for our small business. And so looking at potential opportunities and what you guys have to offer, so that we can hopefully get a new building put up. And yeah, that's kind of a little bit about us. I don't know, is there questions from anybody? Does anyone have information to share?
You're still looking at the Webster property?
Yeah, so the property that we're looking at is the parcel off of Walnut Street.
Yep, that's right.
And so working with the Webster brothers, try to get things figured out next year, and close on that property. And then we have talked in the past with the city council. They currently don't want anything to do with the rezoning of it. So that's why we were hoping to purchase, and then so we could be the people who would work with you guys.
It's a $350 fee.
Yeah, well, they don't want to deal with any of the hassle and, they just didn't want to do it. So we said, okay, well,
What is it, residential now?
it is ag.
It is ag.
That land is ag? Okay, it's not
It's a
commercial.
farm field.
So it would become commercial.
I would think so.
Yeah.
When we had talked last year, I don't remember when I came in and met with you guys, but we hadn't selected a site at all, but that was one of the ones that we were looking at. And I think it would have to be rezoned to.
Right, yeah.
What are you thinking about for, just in general, for a building? Are you looking at having, housing animals there as they're being treated and things like that?
Not really, so, one of the major things would be the front of the vet clinic would be more appealing to the small animal clientele.
Yeah.
And so expanding our small animal clientele would be part of it. Obviously, there's another vet clinic in Zimbrota that also does small animal, but their books are full, our books are full, there's plenty of business to be
A
had.
lot of animals out there.
So it's not even really a competition thing, it's like meeting the need. I mean, right now, we're booked out 3 weeks on any small animal appointment, so it just is a growing sector of our business. So supporting that, and then also looking to build a hauling facility for the large animal side, so that we can have a safer area to bring animals in and process them and do whatever needs to be done, even if it's sick animal things. Our territory keeps expanding. We're currently servicing 6 counties.
Really?
Yeah. So if we can have them haul the animal to us, it makes us more efficient, and the safety factor is getting to be a thing too. So just trying to make an investment in our future and future doctors.
Much bigger than just the central livestock.
Yeah.
Much bigger.
Yeah, yep. Again, we're currently servicing only 6 counties, so not the whole county, but parts of them. So,
Good for you.
yeah, so it's just growing and wondering what we can do within the city to help support our.
It seems like a nice location in my view for what you want.
Yeah, right off of Highway 58 there.
What was that?
Right off Highway 58.
Yes. Yeah, because if we were not planning to grow a small animal portion of it, it might be a different story, but you have to have something that's accessible to people. Because nobody really wants to have a cattle processing facility in the middle of town, but that would be a really minor portion of it. Because they wouldn't be housed there is the big difference. They would haul in, all of that would be all of the, manure, everything like that would be collected, and the animal leaves. They're not there for multiple days. They're there to be treated and.
Smell would not be an issue like people would think it's going to be an issue, because that's going to be a question that's going to pop up.
No, shouldn't be. And again, with there being no neighbors on the east side, it shouldn't be as big.
Okay, well, as an EDA, when you find something you need financially, we can definitely.
So like what does the application look like for the business loan?
Well, it's a lot like,
The one that's in here?
yeah.
Okay.
And when that time comes and And then the money itself, I think the EDA members will agree, it varies.
So essentially you put in kind of what your plans are and what you're looking for, and the approval process is,
Is that group of, there's 4 or 5? Brian is on that, Dave's on it, Kim and then James from the library.
James William.
and those are reviewed monthly, any applications that come in?
As
When,
needed, when they
As
come in.
needed. Okay,
Whenever we receive
Yep.
it.
And then they'll pick a time to meet.
Typically, what DDA tries to do is what they call gap financing. So when you put your sources and uses together, if there's a gap between what kind of conventional financing you might be able to get and then package, if there's a gap in there, then that's usually what gets applied for.
okay,
And we look at it based on that merit.
okay. Yeah, because currently we're trying to decide if we're gonna do a loan or a partial loan for the land purchase. But obviously the building costs are going to be the bigger,
Mhm.
a lot bigger portion of the loan.
What's the situation out there for infrastructure, for water, sewer,
So currently it's butted right up to the property, but not on the property.
on that gravel road?
It's butted up
On,
to 6, the corner of 6.
yeah,
So they'd have to bring it through the property.
Mm-hmm.
Corner. Oh, the corner has it 6 and 58
Yeah.
right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get it over, so you don't have to go under roads or anything.
But I was told it needs to make it to the property edge, to what would be our property edge.
So
Have to look at 'em.
you don't need a lot of water or sewer, probably.
Don't need what?
A lot of water or sewer to be just it's mostly office. You do have some cleanup, I'm sure, but
Correct.
yeah.
Yep, and then again, I think that we had talked about that a lot of the waste, again, because it's animal waste, would need to be in like a holding tank type of thing, so that wouldn't be.
Haul that away, yeah.
Yep.
Electrical and gas and everything is available, I'm sure, somewhere there.
Brian, are there stipulations on what the gap financing can be used for?
I don't believe so. Number one is obviously economic development,
Yeah,
and this obviously fits that.
yeah, but it doesn't matter if it's land or building or.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any restrictions that way.
Yeah, it'd be exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you get
great project.
numbers figured out. Miranda, you have the applications in the office, or Kurt?
Do are they up front?
Yeah, I think. Yes.
One of them.
There,
We'll have your application.
From Kurt to Marina.
if I don't have it immediately, it's somewhere in the computer that I can
That's okay.
just print.
You
Yeah.
can email it too, that's fine.
Yeah.
And your
Yeah,
timing was
that.
what again for buying the land?
We're hoping to close on the land February 1st is our current.
Okay,
We kind of pushed it off a little bit because we were gonna maybe do some soil borings and stuff, and then our architecture said, well, there's no point in doing soil borings if we haven't created the architecture for the building, because you can rebore them. So we had kind of gone back and forth on that.
borings for loading?
Borings for knowing where we can put the building. On land. Soil borings to know where the architecture agrees that you can build a building of that size.
How big is it?
We don't know yet. But with the Holland facility, which is more than likely going to be less extravagant than the small animal part of it, that's gonna be the big square footage. But yeah, the building, the parking lot, everything like that, we don't have sizes yet.
And that,
It's kind of one of those chicken and the egg thing, which do you do first, and
the land was never used for anything other than agriculture, right? Out there?
all I've ever
As
known.
far as I know, it's.
Okay.
Ken needs to be here to answer that question.
So there's no point of borings for pollution is what I'm saying. There's no
Phase one.
gas or oil or anything there's nothing been there.
Typically, a lender is going to require, at the very least, an environmental questionnaire.
Right.
And that environmental questionnaire would probably not require anything further than that. just based on the use of the land.
Okay.
The fact that the land has
Correct.
never been used for anything other than agriculture, so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about the borings.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to Brian's point, I think he makes a good point that it's gap funding that we can provide. With that said, and don't hold me to this, but there are.
Type
funds-
it.
There are funds available
Yeah.
here. So just, and usually my voice is much nicer than this. Yeah, well, then we know there's a real problem.
Second career in voiceover, sorry.
Yeah. This has been going on for a full week.
Oh.
And it's better than it was, but my point is they're, get the other stuff taken care of, and I can't imagine the rezoning would be an issue. I don't sit on city council or planning and zoning, but I've sat on both, and this is the kind of stuff that the city is looking for.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose you, so
Yeah,
that's the
and we
deal.
would really like to stay
Yeah.
in the Townsend Road at Central for our business and.
I just wrote a big check out of Todd's checkbook. I don't think it was that big of a check. Makes sense, don't you think?
Perfect, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're excited, we're nervous. There's 4 of us young owners that, you either do it now or you're gonna regret not doing it.
Who's
So,
the senior out there now for you? Is it?
Dr. Mark Debner.
Yeah. When are you gonna get Nathan back?
I know, we don't know, but hopefully soon. He's just really enjoying hunting out there in Idaho.
Yeah, you should talk to him about talking to the Idaho DNR.
Oh, no.
So Nathan and my son Paul are tight.
Okay.
So Paul went out to go elk hunting with them.
Has he gotten a little bit of trouble?
So this is being recorded.
Yeah, this is recorded.
We can adjourn the
Record
meeting.
this.
We can finish the meeting.
Yeah.
We'll adjourn the meeting.
No, it's a big deal if you fella